Hello, I am back with another instalment of the Drama School Diaries, and I will be talking about my term 3, year 2. My final term of second year, which is crazy to think about. It's mad to think that I'm now going to third year, but I'm still second year this summer. It's fine. I'm not a third year until the first day back in September. Before that, still a second year, still youthful. It's fine, it's fine. Probably been the busiest term that we've had so far, I would say. I think we've had certain terms that have been absolutely mad, but I think this term just seemed so packed. We had Buto, which is a type of Japanese dance, and we had clowning for 5 weeks. Then after that 5 weeks, we then switched to Chinese opera and Commedia dell'arte. And during this we still had voice training the whole way through, where we had people come in from Central. They were kind of like on their placement, and they came and taught us their specialty, basically. I was gonna say speciality, but I feel like that's wrong. So we had this guy called Alex, and he was lovely. He was so kind and so lovely, and he was a really, really wonderful teacher, and he taught us the German accent, which was really nice. And even if I don't end up using it, I feel like now it's reminded me of all the different tools that I need to create an accent. So if I need to make an accent in future, I kind of know how to approach it a lot better. It's reminded me of all of those things. So I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a very, very helpful tool and a very helpful class to have. So I really enjoyed voice. How do we describe Buto? Buto was interesting. We were taught by an amazing woman called Florencia Gerberoff, who I may be pronouncing wrong, so I'm sorry if I am pronouncing her last name wrong. But I will link her. She has a website called Asian Performing Arts, so I'll link that down below just in case you're interested. I know that she does workshops in other places. So we had her for 5 weeks. We would have her for 4 hours straight, 3 days a week. I'm pretty sure that's what we had. Maybe 4 days a week. I feel we definitely had Monday off, but I can't remember if we had like Friday off as well. I know we definitely had, it was either 3 lots of 4 hours or 4 lots of 4 hours, but I feel like it was 3. And it was very, very intense. We didn't have a lot of breaks. She wanted us to kind of really be in the moment, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I did struggle with that to start with. I definitely overthought the whole process a lot to begin with. But it's a very interesting style of dance. But the creator of Buto, he wanted to create a dance that would represent real life, which is why the more, like, the older you are, the more mature you are, it tends to look a lot better. So for like a younger person doing Buto dance, it can be beautiful, and it is beautiful. But if you see an older person doing it, it tends to look better. That's kind of the idea. But it is to represent real life, so it's not beautiful. No, it is beautiful, but in a different way. It's not commercially beautiful. There we go. It's not commercially beautiful, and it's not like floaty and like modern dance kind of way. You are embodying materials. So we started off, I believe, being like a tree. Then we went on to smoke and stuff like that, and it does sound very out there, and in some ways it is, but in some ways it's really not. It was a really, really interesting experience, and it taught me a lot about discipline, I would say. And I think that is a really important lesson to learn, especially going into third year. So I was very, very thankful for that, and I thought it was a really, really great experience that we had, and I did enjoy it. It was very demanding and very tough at times. I didn't enjoy every second of it, but I did enjoy it as a whole, and I think it was a very important thing to have. So she was our first visiting artist, and she was lovely. She was great. She was a really wonderful teacher, and she commanded a room like no other teacher I've had before. So I really, really enjoyed her lessons, and I thought she was brilliant. So that's Buto. I don't want to go into it loads. I feel like it's one of those things, if you search it and you watch it with an untrained eye without any sort of understanding, it does look very strange. But I feel like now, me looking back at those videos, it makes so much more sense to me, and I can really see the beauty in it. So if you want to learn more about it, I definitely link her website below, like I said, because I do think it is a really interesting thing, and if you can get to a workshop, do it. I definitely would recommend it. I think it'd be really, really eye-opening. It's a really interesting thing to look into. And then alongside that we did clowning, which was nice because clowning was like a nice, it was a lighter relief, so it was more like, our teacher was a lot more relaxed in his approach, and he was absolutely wonderful. I really, really enjoyed his teaching technique, and it is amazing how complicated clowning actually is. It was really interesting to see how you actually have to really be quite vulnerable in order to create comedy, but it was so interesting, and our presentation at the end was really, really fun, and it was just nice to be able to play around with different things. And sometimes we had weeks where it was great, sometimes you have weeks where you flop, but you needed those weeks where you weren't great at it to really reflect on it and to see what you needed to do, how you needed to improve to really get the best out of it. So I really enjoyed that, and I thought it was one of the best classes I've ever had. I learned so much from clowning, and it really helped then going into Commedia. Commedia was amazing. We had a guy called Jeff teach us, and he was wonderful. If you don't know what Commedia dell'arte is, it's a masked like comedy theatre form. Originally came from Italy. It didn't take off massively here at the time because we were all obsessed with Shakespeare, but it is still definitely a big thing now, and there are a lot of companies actually that do tour with it. It's a really interesting technique. I think the masks are amazing. There's loads of stock characters, so if you've like heard of like Harlequin, stuff like that, does come from Commedia. You've got the Zannies, you've got Pantalone, you've got loads of different things. So I played a Pantalone, which is typically you can play it as a female or a male. I felt more comfortable playing it as a male, and I'll show you a photo because I could insert a photo, but I'm not very good at that on my editing, I'm not gonna lie to you, so I'm just gonna show you. But Pantalone is like this kind of like really, he or she, so I'll just use he pronouns, but it's he or she basically, is obsessed with money, and all he wants is money. That's all he thinks about, really. He was kind of a looker back in his days, and he is a bit sex obsessed, so he does make jokes about stuff like that quite a lot. But it is a very interesting character to play, and I absolutely loved it, and the mask that I had was absolutely beautiful. But hopefully you can kind of see that and not just see a reflection, but this was the mask that I had. And it was kind of like two-tone leather. I thought it was really cool. Apologies for the cracks on my phone, but yeah, that's what it looks like. Again, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was part of our like comedy module, so clowning and Commedia, and it was so funny. It was so good. It was amazing to see all the different people take on the different characters. There's also like older lovers, younger lovers. There's so many different characters. I could list them all, but I feel like I'll miss up one of them out, so I'm just gonna go with those because they're the ones that I remember the most. And it was just so enjoyable. It was so much fun learning about different characters every week, and it was intriguing to see which ones you gelled with, which ones you clicked with, and which ones you didn't. But I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. I really did, and I had a great time. And then alongside that, we had Chinese opera, which again was quite intense. We had a director called Chen Gang, who was wonderful. He is literally the loveliest man I have ever met and ever known. He is a beautiful human, and yeah, I just love him. I think he's great. He taught us so much, and he was a really, really wonderful director to have. Our first kind of production in the theatre as well, so it was really nice to be able to go into the theatre, especially for third year, so we can get used to kind of performing in there in the space. And it was amazing. It was really, really cool, and I was assistant stage manager, so I learned a lot about backstage stuff. I wanted to get more experience with that, because at the end of the day, if I'm not getting jobs within the industry in acting, then I can always go in through a different way, and I think there's always stage managers needed, so it's always good to have experience backstage, and it's generally just good to kind of know all the different roles within what goes on behind a theatre production, I think, because I think you end up respecting the people that are in those positions a lot more, and I think you then have a better relationship with them because you know exactly what they do, and I just think it's very important to kind of know that. So it was really nice to actually get to experience the backstage life, and I really enjoyed it. It was quite stressful at times, but it was really enjoyable, and My friend Emily was like the stage manager, so I was her assistant, and it was nice to work alongside her as well, because she kind of got the stage manager job and was just like so driven, and so all of a sudden just so, she's not the most organised person ever, but she became so organised, and it was really nice to see, and it was really nice to work alongside her, and I don't think I really would have wanted to work alongside anyone else. And I think we made a very, very good team, along with Sam as well, who was our another assistant director. He was absolutely wonderful, and if we didn't have him, I don't think we would have had a production. So we had some really, really wonderful people, the smaller wonderful people as well, but they're the ones that I'm just mentioning that were part of my team that were just great. And I just really enjoyed putting a production on the theatre. It was so much fun, and Chinese opera is such an interesting art form. It's a shame we only had 5 weeks, because there's so much to it that we definitely needed more time. So we kind of mastered what we could, and kind of used inspiration to create. It was more of a Western style, but it was a Chinese opera play, so it was really interesting and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And this term overall has been really busy but really enjoyable, and I feel like I've learned a lot of things that are going to be really helpful to go into 3rd year with. So it's been a really interesting term, and just in case you're interested in my course, and that's why you watch these videos, I do world performance at East 15, and the visiting artists will differ. So obviously I've done Butoh and Chinese opera. If you were going into your 2nd year, you probably won't have the same people. I'm pretty sure they are going to try and bring them back in different years, but you do tend to have different visiting artists every year, so everyone will do something different, which is nice, because last year they focused on Indonesia, so they did Bali, so their 2nd year production was Balinese theatre, a Balinese theatre style, which is really interesting and really great to see. We've done Chinese opera, and I'm very excited to see what the 1st year is going into 2nd year, what they get given, because it'll be really interesting to see. So yeah, so we have 2 different visiting artists, but I just thought I would explain that. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's been amazing, and it's been so nice to kind of, I don't know, I feel like I've learned a lot about myself, especially recently, but also through the course, and it's made me realise how much I really want to write. I did Southend Fringe this term, where I got to perform my one-woman play, which is called Not the Girl Next Door, which I want to extend, and I want to take it to other places. I want to make it into a half-an-hour show, so I'm going to try and plan that and make sure that it's longer and stretches out more, and then I want to try it out with different audiences and see what happens. But Southend Fringe is an amazing thing. If you're an East 15 student as well, you can put on your shows and stuff for free, which is amazing if your application is accepted. It's a really, really great festival that we have down in Southend, so it's really nice to have. And I believe Devising Festival was also the start of 3rd term. Yeah, it was. Oh my goodness. So we also had Devising Festival, where my first play was performed, LV3. My cast were wonderful, and they put on such an amazing performance. I was so proud of them. I do still want to get it filmed. It's just been very busy, but yeah, they did all my words such justice, and I cried so much. The first performance, I was like, oh goodness, my babies. And that's kind of how I felt about my cast. It was weird, but it was amazing, and it was so cool to kind of get a really nice response. I just wanted to create something that was lighthearted and enjoyable, but also demonstrated how love affects people in different ways. So that was what my play was about. So yeah, we do Devising Festival. It typically is performed in 2nd term, but with the way it kind of was organised and the way that it was structured, with when we could have the rooms and the studios, we ended up performing it in 3rd term. But that was really good. So that was 3rd term overall in a nutshell. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing about it. I certainly enjoyed doing it, and I'm excited and also petrified for 3rd year, but I'm mainly excited at the moment. It might change further into summer. But yeah, at the moment I'm just enjoying having a break. I'm off on holiday and I couldn't be more excited. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed my video, and I shall see you again very soon. It might be with slightly more creative videos, so less of a sit down kind of situation, or it might be a sit down situation. You just don't know. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I shall see you soon. Have a wonderful time, and if you have any more questions for me about the course, anything you want me to answer, please let me know down below. around so I see the comments and I will reply to you promptly. So I sound like a secretary or something, but yeah, so just if you have any more questions, I would be happy to answer them. So yeah, enjoy your summer. Hope you're enjoying lots of sunshine, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye.